Okay, so continuing the superhero trend, I felt like I'd tackle the Punisher movies. If you guys saw my first DVD and Blu-ray video, you would know that I own all of them and have seen all of them. I haven't seen them recently, but I remember so much from them, I'm pretty sure my opinions are going to stay the same as they are now. So first of all, the 80s version. Even though it was obviously pretty low budget, you got the idea that it was more of a TV movie and such. I'm impressed with what they did because, the Punisher did have a feel that, he was kind of like removed from humanity, because, that scene where Jake is trying to get the Punisher to realize the consequence of his actions, and then all the Punisher is 125 deaths in 10 years, plus the 50 people that I've killed already. That's a work in progress. Hmm? That's interesting, because obviously the death of your family will do a lot to you, although I'm just being killed in a car crash that wasn't as good as it could have been. We should have gotten more than that, but yeah, that'll do a lot to you, and hmm. The eventual plot that gradually developed with that Asian woman trying to take control of all of the mob, and then Punisher teams up with the person who was responsible for his family's death to take them down. Ultimately, all that turned out to be very interesting. It was fun to see how all these not bad people, but willing to kill people, willing to behave, just the ways that they interacted with each other, the nice couple of one-liners that were in the movie, and the fight scenes. I have to admit, they were low budget, but it was fun. Because, that carnival scene, yeah! Punisher just kicked A! And when he and Franco were taking out all those Asian guys, nice! I got real nervous for them there. That final confrontation, there was a lot of emotion behind it, although I wish they spoke louder. Pretty good. Now, that's not to say that the movie doesn't have flaws, because the low budget was obviously a flaw, and then Jake. Unfortunately, his story arc didn't really add up to that much, because, the first half of the movie, he's trying, to state that Frank Castle and the Punisher are the same person, and when he finally meets the Punisher, he didn't even get close to finding him. It just falls over. All they do is talk for one scene, and he escapes purely on his own in that last act of the movie. Just, yeah, didn't really do that much to the character. The character could have been a lot more, and yeah. And then I was disappointed when Franco turned traitor, even though, should I have expected it? Yeah, I should have. And then, of course, the fact that there's no sequel to this kind of leaves the movie with just randomness feeling, but the other two feel the same way. I'm gonna go 4 critique and 3 personal. Why? Even though I did enjoy the movie, I don't know. Part of it could be it's just been a while since I've seen it, and part of it could just go, what the heck, Now, the Thomas Jane Punisher, I heard going into this that this was a good movie. I've only seen the extended cut, but I own both for pretty much the same reasons as the Daredevil situation. Which reminds me, I need to review Daredevil. Ooh, yeah, that's a big gaping hole on this channel. But yeah, I like this one because it carried a good amount of the strengths that were in the previous one, but added a much better story to it, because the story that was in here, even though the original was kind of simple, just it carried a lot of emotion with it. It feels dark in many situations. It feels like you're taken away to this totally different world where everything turns against Thomas Jane and he tries to recover his life and such. You really do feel the even more detached feel that who portrayed the Punisher? The other one, Dolph, yeah. You feel the same way with both of those actors. And then the villain, I like how they gave John Travolta a good amount of personality, even though some of it wasn't too great, because I understand that, he definitely would have reason to be angry that his wife might be having an affair with, his best friend, if you could call him his best friend, but, kill them both over it? I don't really see that. I can see him killing, his best friend, but killing his wife also? Huh? Beat your wife? Big time? Mm-hmm. But kill her too? Really? Even though that actually does lead to one of the more better scenes of the movie, absolutely. And just all the other stuff was great. Everyone was well acted, and everyone mattered. Although it's a pity that they weren't able to film the Middle Eastern scene that would have set up the beginning of the movie and leading to Frank's friend turning on him. But even that story arc is pretty interesting because you understand why the guy did it, and then at the end where Frank orders him to kill himself, nice. That's something you don't see from too many movies out there. Even though, like with the original one, this one is simple, and yet it carries a whole lot of emotion with it. That's just great. You know? And the one-liners, they're pretty interesting also, yeah. I'm fine. He's not. Priceless. 4.8, have to give it that. Even though I think, obviously, if I rewatch it frequently, I'm going to think less of it, but it was a good movie. Punisher Warzone. Okay, this one's a lot harder to explain. The first time I saw this movie, I honestly didn't like it, because it felt totally different from the other Punisher movies. I thought the level of gore in there was just crazy, and the way that a Jigsaw looked, yeah, I was creeped out about that for a while, especially with the way that, skin is happening over one of his eyes. And, felt too much like a comic book movie, because, okay, the other two movies, you could tell that they were set pretty much in our world, but it does kind of take you to, a microcosm of our world and such, but it still feels realistic. Here, it felt a lot more like a comic book, because the way that the New York streets were lit up with the yellow glow, that doesn't happen, but you see that in DC comics all the time, because unlike Marvel, DC has a habit of coloring things unnaturally more to suit the mood of the comic, whereas Marvel, it's clearly our world with superheroes. Have it look like it. And then, those underworld scenes, one of them has, a lot of red, one of them has a lot of green, and then there's, that weird sumo guy in the elevator looking all yellow? Yeah, didn't really like that. And I also wasn't totally a fan of Ray Stevens' portrayal as the Punisher in here. Then I saw the, sort of making of things that are included on the DVD, and then I decided to give the movie another shot a few weeks later, and I found myself liking it a lot more, surprisingly, because once I accepted the fact that it was different from the other two, I can appreciate its strengths a lot better. I was impressed with how much all these characters acted between each other. I didn't really care for them as much because it felt more comic booky, but I could tell that they were all acted pretty well and had interesting relationships with each other. And the gore, once I got over the shock effect, I actually kind of like it, actually, because when the Punisher's killing those two associates that are closest to Jigsaw, god damn it, that's when he pulls the guy's face off, and then that dining room scene at the beginning, yeah! That's great! Amazing, that. And then the big fight scene where he pretty much single-handedly takes out everyone in the building and sustains injuries himself. Yeah, I winced many times, even though I winced many times for Thomas Jane also. And Jigsaw, yeah, he was menacing, let me tell you. That's how you get a dark villain, and let me tell you, even though of course there's other good examples of portraying a dark villain, let me tell you. And Ray Stevenson as the Punisher, I gotta admit, he doesn't carry as much of a detached feeling, but he does have more of a feeling towards other people, which I think is a nice way to compensate, let me tell you. It's not the best, but since, uh, well, every movie that has involved the Punisher has been a reboot, and they're rebooting again, believe it or not, you just kind of gotta get used to it. But obviously, the biggest weakness in the movie is just a simple story, and is there really for the special effects? Even though the movie wasn't that bad, so we haven't like had an absolute perfect Punisher yet, because everybody wants the action that's in this movie and the story that was in the Thomas Jane Punisher movie. But I don't totally mind this movie now that I've gotten over the shock effects. Uh, hmm. I think I'm gonna go with the same rating as I did with the original for critique. Free personal. Lee, I think I have stated a few times that this is my least favorite Punisher movie, but I don't think the gap between that and the original is by that much, to tell you the truth, in hindsight. So, for those of you who are Warzone freaks, I think you can not judge me that much, because, hey, I gave the movie a second chance, and that says something. Hmm? Because most people don't give movies second chances. And how do I feel about the rebooting it again? Well, since Warzone didn't make that much, dough, yeah, it does kind of make sense, although I really wish that The Punisher could actually get a movie that actually people, enjoy, even though many people enjoyed Thomas Jane Punisher, just get the act together. I mean, like, you could argue that the Hulk needs to get the act together, but there's actually quite a large amount of people that enjoy those movies and such. It's just a different situation, okay? Okay, so that pretty much sums up my thoughts on these movies. See you next time.